problem is, it's recording. Then we can edit it in post.
Sure.
I don't have my makeup on. And I don't remember the guy's number. Oh my God! Do you remember we called 911 yesterday?
So, Boris, clap us in.
Okay, ready?
Audio. Yep. We're live.
We're live. I hope this is the right number. Also, I don't look good in profile.
I think you look great in profile.
No.
Hello, this is Rich with Boris. Please leave a message and I'll call you back as soon as possible. Thank you.
He's calling me back. It's okay.
Hi.
Hello? Right on. And you're Mitch, right?
I am.
Cool, I'm Boris.
Nice to meet you, Boris.
Right on, man. I'll see you in a bit.
Yeah, take care.
Cool. All right. Should have done that with my sunglasses on.
So right on. Can we talk about that?
No, we can't.
As a phrase?
We can't talk about anything.
On?
We're going to go get the brisket. 1933.
Are you the dude and is it the 80s?
Observatory Drive. That's how cool. That's a cool thing to say. Right on.
Is it?
Yeah, it's cool.
Today, is it cool? In this decade?
It stands the test of time.
All right.
All right, we've got a brisket. It's a Packer brisket, which means that it's a full brisket, not a... Open it up. We're going to trim it down. We're going to dry brine this puppy, and then we're going to dry brine it for about maybe 24, maybe 48 hours before we throw it on the kettle and get the slow and sear, making its magic. Got to remember to suck in. I'll try to get these gloves on, because you want to have one dirty hand, one clean hand. The first thing we're going to do is open the brisket, prepare the brisket. We're going to, just as a little foreshadowing, right? And we're going to trim the brisket, we're going to dry brine the brisket, and then we're going to cook the brisket in the next segment. This is Paige, and Paige is going to do her best to stay out of the way. Now that we're set, this is a boning knife. We're going to use a Victorinox boning knife, blue handle.
It was cheaper because the handle's blue.
That's right. The black handle one was a bit more expensive.
It's less manly, is actually the idea. That's a real thing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So this, in some ways, this brisket will disrupt the patriarchy. This brisket is a good brisket for a few reasons. Because you might ask, well, how do you know it's a good brisket, Boris?
I was just going to ask that. How do you know it's a good brisket?
Well, here's the thing. A good brisket is sort of like the Roman Empire, in that it's got to be full of marble. Yeah. It's a good brisket. First of all, it is about 14 pounds, uncut, and size-wise, it is about the size of a nearly 2-month-old baby.
Wow. How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean,
Let's be present in the moment.
let's be present. I'm always present.
I'm not experiencing any nervousness.
This is a little bit nerve-wracking.
Is it?
Yeah.
You never admit to being nervous.
No, not for me. You are. For you. That's a good thing here, presumably.
What makes it good?
So, now I'm going to keep on trimming. Now, this meat here, this fat.
Mitch specifically told us about this.
We got to get rid of it.
It's
not going to render. It's not going to render, but what you can do here is if you just trim it correctly, you see how it just...
surgery here.
It is surgery. It's more consequential than surgery.
Obviously.
The beauty about trimming a brisket is there's no wrong way to do it.
No?
No.
So for instance, that thing right there,
This?
is a good thing?
That's a good thing.
It's a good thing that happened?
It's not a bad thing. Now, do you see?
The meat's talking to you?
Yeah. Well, the meat's talking to all of us. And we're talking, and it's important not to talk back. You gotta respect your meat, Paige. We've got this fat in here, and I don't, boy, that's sort of too bad that I gashed that up. We'll have to, maybe we'll fix that somehow in post.
What do you think happens in post for the meat?
How's our budget? Are we under budget? Because we got a good price on this. Mitch really supported this process by giving us a great price at the Varsity Butcher.
The reason why we got such a good price is because you have to do this part, right?
That's right.
So that's part of what took off some.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But the only thing where you're wrong is when you said have to, because it's not have to. This is get to.
Right.
Well, so this and so one might say, boy, that reminds me of a certain young boy who was painting a fence. Is it silver skin or silver screen? Nobody knows. See this marbling? Now that's some good marbling.
What does that mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That's how the brisket game is.
It is how the brisket game is. And listen, this brisket life did not choose me, or I didn't choose it. It did choose me.
It chose.
We'll fix that in post. Do you have any thoughts about measurements, Paige?
I have any thoughts about I completely disagree with everything about your philosophical approach to measurements. You can't fire me for having a different perspective on measurements. I have been under the impression that at Cooking with Boris, we tolerate differences of opinion. It's not like an authoritarian state where we all have the same exact position on measurement.
That's right, it's not. But also, just like we're trimming the fat here, we've trimmed the fat off the production in our company. And so like when you say HR, for example, in some ways I am the HR. You think so? You see, I think this fat here, we got to make this a little bit smaller. But what's nice about this knife is it's good for pointing. What I wish I would have done initially is not stab the brisket. And it's also unclear, do you cut toward yourself or away from yourself?
I would bet it's away from yourself, right? Just for safety reasons?
Yeah, but here, no risk, no reward. Do you feel nervous in the unclarity? Because we swim. The waters we swim in are unclear, murky.
Listen, that has become that's become obvious.
We swim in murky waters.
Is that these waters are very murky.
Yeah, see, this is some
The
good
cameraman just nodded. That's true.
But murky
across
waters,
production.
bring to happier days.
That's not an expression.
That's a phrase.
No, it's not. Who said that? Was that Socrates again?
Tom Hanks in Castaway. Now that's some good.
Looks
You
like
see
you
that
got a
wrist
ribbon
work?
there. That's great. Yeah.
The ribbon. Yeah, we call that the fat ribbon in the business, in the butchering business. We don't do this for the money.
No?
No, we are absolutely.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought I was being compensated for my time today.
You are being
Am I
compensated.
doing this for free?
Here's the interesting part. You are being compensated for your time.
Careful with the knife.
Well, it's good for pointing. But what's interesting is that just the experience isn't in itself the compensation. You see how that works? It's sort of like when the snake eats its own head, but in a positive way.
But in a good way.
In a good way. And now in Kansas,
Sure, that's a state. That's a
what they
place.
do there
Yep.
in Kansas is they leave part of the brisket on
Okay.
to do Kansas style.
Are we doing that?
We're not in Kansas. Now we're going to do a Wisconsin style.
Oh, what is Wisconsin style?
You're
Are we-
witnessing it. If you break your curfew and you don't get in trouble,
Okay.
part of you is happy because you don't get in trouble, but part of you wants the discipline and
creating
structure.
boundaries.
You want the boundaries.
Exactly. So
This keeps the meat
the brisket
within
needs
boundaries.
boundaries.
Yeah, the brisket needs boundaries, and we give up the boundaries. It's not like the Wild West. It's not like sort of chaos.
It feels like it's chaos.
It feels like it's chaos,
Yeah.
but it's not. In some ways, that's interesting because what we're doing here is art. I mean, this is art. It's like Dada art, but it's art. Good things come in threes. Let's hat trick this up as a hockey reference. 99% of cooking, of course, is style, but rendering is a big, important part of the
Is
process.
90% of rendering style?
99% of rendering is style. That's absolutely correct.
Okay.
And style-wise, we're
We're killing it.
We're killing it. We're getting
It's almost
you know
too stylish.
10s across the board. Well, that's why we did the gash here is to show the imperfections of life.
Oh. A little bit like
this
render
over.
was kind of left unconstructed entirely, right? There's no substance to what that means.
I think it's the most substantial part of cooking. That's a good-looking brisket. It's lean. I wonder if I'm supposed to take this off. I'm just gonna do this. Yeah, because we want a brisket ought to be aerodynamic. No, this is true.
Throw it?
Huh?
What?
No. You want
How is it
to.
gonna move through the air?
Well, first of all, as an educational show, we ought to be clear. We are moving through the air currently. But you want an aerodynamic brisket. You see, so it's sort of like this. It's whatever you like, but aerodynamicness, the aerodynamic nature of a brisket is quite important.
Is that the word that you mean? Because, again, are you throwing the brisket at anyone? Like, what are the stakes of it moving?
You see how that's a good comparison. Now, it doesn't need to be as thin at the top here, but we want an aerodynamic brisket. We sort of want, because that improves the flow.
Thank you.
And it's got to have a good flow.
Okay, a good flow.
You understand?
No.
This is kind of what we're doing here. This is
Yes.
sort of a documentary, mockumentary, except that this is not funny.
I need
This is
to-
serious. How did I find them? Man, gotta get rid of that. Yeah, that's good. I do take offense.
A qualitative what?
As a qualitative researcher,
Researcher.
I do take offense at what I just said.
Oh, you do?
I do.
So you offended yourself?
Just now.
Just now.
And that's another complexity of the show here. Well, I'm gonna flip it over to the other side. Look at the other side. You see how I'm getting
That
better
was
with
a
the
lot
flip.
smoother, yeah.
Yeah. We'll edit that in post and show that I've been doing it that way the whole time. I'm getting better at the flips. All right. Next, all we're gonna do next is we're gonna wrap it in some butcher paper. White butcher paper. It's coated, so you can't cook with it, but you can wrap meat in it. That's something that I've taught my friend Saul. He wasn't aware of that difference between types of butcher paper. And so then we're gonna dry brine it for anywhere between 24 and 48 hours. And the next step after that will be cooking it on the slow and sear. We're gonna tag slow and sear too, hashtag at them. Weber kettle. Lots of corporate sponsors that we might have on the show.
We're trying to solicit them? 'Cause
We're not soliciting.
Okay, but do we want corporate sponsors or
We
no?
don't. We don't want them.
Okay, but so then why are we adding them?
Well, we're not. It's not. Part of the thing here, Paige, is maybe. Are you mic'd up? Maybe that was a problem. You see how aerodynamic this thing is? If you would put this, you could hurl through the air.
Yeah.
You're just because we want to just look at that flow. See that? Whoa! Boom. 9:30 or almost 10 p.m. We've got the coal going in a slow and sear, and some wood chunks there. We're using apple wood, hardwood, apple hardwood. There's a meat probe right there, the smoke meat probe. That's going to go inside of the kettle, the Weber kettle. Lots of corporate sponsors here this evening. And then we put the grate on, and the magic begins. But if you're looking, you're not cooking. Clean smoke coming off the grill, that's important. All right, and cut.